This video production.
I raised pit bulls for 25 years, and I liked a tough, hardy dog. And about 5 years ago, we were at a dog show, and we seen a real tough, strong-looking dog. And
we were looking for about 2 years for a rare breed.
Yeah, we were looking about 2 years. We went to all the AKC shows and the rare breed shows, and we had run into Mike Satilli, who was the pioneer of the breed in this country, who brought him over here in 1988. And we liked the dog, we liked the temperament, and we decided to start breeding them.
The Romans met the Molossians during the Macedonian Wars. They were renamed Pugnaces for their combatantness and their fighting ability. It's difficult to say if the Cane Corso and the Neapolitan Mastiff have a common origin, but it's easy to assume that also with the Assyrians there were two kinds of Molossians. One was the big and statical dog used as watch and fighting dog. The second one, agile and dynamical, used as war and hunting dogs. These two breeds that we can also see in the Assyrian bas-reliefs in British museums probably were bred elsewhere. At this point, it is right to tell you that we don't want to support that the Cane Corso or the Neapolitan Mastiff were bred in pureness since the Assyrians' age to now. There are only suppositions, especially if we consider that the modern concept of breeding was born less than 2 centuries ago, and that before then, the breed were distinct only for their functional utilization. In the specific case of the Cane Corso, its versatility and wide diffusion all over Italy was the cause of a broad differentiation, in particular during the Middle Age due to the different utilizations and the particular tendencies of breeding in the different areas of Italy. As you know, the Corso is a cattle dog, a hunting dog, and a watch dog.
Mike Satilli, who is now deceased, was the pioneer of the breed. He brought the dogs here in 1988. He brought the first Cane Corsos here from Sicily, and he also brought some dogs from Puglia, which is southern Italy, by Naples.
And that's their origin.
That's the origin. They're mostly from Puglia.
The breed standard is pretty much a massive head, wide between the ears, large chest. They're supposed to be very agile, good endurance, no excessive dewlap. They come in all colors except for white. That includes the striping, which is brindling. Anything else you want to add?
The males usually run from 100 to 140 pounds, females from 80 to 110 pounds.
What type of environment does the breed need?
Well, they're adaptable to pretty much any environment. They do better in the cooler weather. They're excellent house dogs. They don't shed. They don't drool. They're not hyperactive dogs. They don't jump all over you when you come into the house. But they are very loyal. They can't wait to see you when you come home. But they're pretty much adaptable anywhere.
There's no maintenance whatsoever. They're real short hair. In the winter, if you leave them outside, they get a thick undercoat, so they will shed the undercoat, you know, during the summer months. And exercise-wise, you don't have to exercise, but we do exercise. We believe in exercising our dogs. We run them, we swim them, and just letting them loose, running around by themselves is good enough.
They have great endurance, so they're excellent for people who do jog and want to go on hikes and stuff. They can definitely keep up.
Watch him, boy. Watch him. Good boy. Good boy. Get him up.
Now get him off the sleeve.
Watch him. Good boy.
Children, they're great with kids. They try to protect the children, if anything. As far as strangers go, like my husband said earlier, they're not indiscriminate biters, so they won't just attack anyone.
They're kind of standoffish to strangers a lot of times. They're not going to be your friend right away. I could give you, for instance, we were up in the back fields and somebody came here and the dog ran down, just stood in front of him and wouldn't let him go. He could go back to his car, I'd be all right, but he couldn't walk forward. If he came forward, he would have got bit. We came down, said he was all right, and the dog just walked away from him. So.
But he kept him at bay. He didn't let him near our house.
He's not just going to go up and bite somebody. But if you're in your house and somebody tries to come in your house, you're in big trouble.
How are they with other dogs?
Yeah, we take them to dog shows, and hundreds of dogs around, and they mind their own business. We let the females run loose. You have the males, though, they're real dominant, and they're not going to take nothing from another dog. They'll ignore them, but if the other dog tries to get aggressive with them at all, they'll
Definitely get aggressive back.
they'll get aggressive back with them.
Two males have a little bit of a hard time getting along because they are such a dominant dog. But we find that with our dogs, we really don't have any trouble. But I don't suggest two large male dogs. The trainability of the Cane Corso is excellent. They're extremely intelligent dogs, and we feel that they're highly trainable. We did go to a Pine Barren show. My husband and myself didn't enter it, but there was a Cane Corso entered into an obedience field trial, which does show trainability. The Corso beat out all the other dogs. He scored a 198 out of a possible 200, which is an extremely great score. So we have no problem training them. They're very easily trained. They want to please the owners, so they strive very hard to do it.
How do they do for protection type training?
Oh, real good. We do some personal protection work with our dogs, and at 10 months old, we had dogs hitting the sleeve, and I mean, real serious. You don't even have to teach them to do it. You know, the first time a couple of dogs we just took there, and usually you start them off with a tug and stuff. They hit the sleeve the first time. They're sort of like a pit bull and a bulldog type mentality once they get on the sleeve. But they do listen a little bit better on the out.
We have people, we have two people who are training them in the canine units now, so we're really looking forward to hearing how they're turning out. From what I've heard, I've gotten all good reports. But
What states are they?
one is in Florida, and the other one
Virginia.
is Virginia.
And stay on it.
Get it to him?
Yeah, hit it. Let him take the hit and fight him a bit.
Good boy.
Now drop
Good
it.
boy.
Get him off the sleeve.
Get him. Get him. Feel it.
Well, there was a man that lived in Tennessee, and he was going through Nashville during the middle of the night. He just got done being at a bar, and he had his Corso, was sleeping in the backseat of the car, and he stopped at a red light, and it was the summer. He had his window rolled down, and all of a sudden, two guys just came up to his door and reached in, and he said the next thing you know, the Corso was on the guy's shoulder, biting the hell out of him. And that was that, and he drove away.
You definitely feel safe at home with them.
What are some of your general thoughts on protection dogs?
Dog that is imposing looking, and that's not an indiscriminate biter. I want a dog that's smart enough to know when you need them. I don't want a dog that you're going to have to lock down the basement every time somebody comes to the house, and then if something does happen, they're not going to be there to help you. And just a smart dog that knows when to be a protection dog.
And these dogs are very imposing looking. Just the sight of them is enough to deter a burglar or anyone else. And
How do you prepare a young puppy for protection work and then assist the buyer in selecting a puppy?
When the puppy's young, we try to put them in different environments, different rooms, different noises, putting the radio on, throwing keys on the ground.
take them by ShopRite, let them hear the cars.
You know, I mean, what we do here, though, is we take them in different rooms and put them in different environments and have people, you know, different people coming in. So you socialize them when they're young. You start them at 4 or 5 weeks old, getting around people. We'll fool around with a tug with them, you know, just a little piece of towel or something like that, throw keys down, make a lot of loud stomping noises, put the radio real loud, things of that sort. So they're used to not being shy, and you'll know who comes out. You'll know which dog has the right temperament to send to this person, you know.
Feel her! Feel her! Get him, boy! Get him, boy! Get him, boy! Get him, boy! Feel her! Get him, boy! Go! Go! Get! 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 Get!
We took a trip over to Italy, my husband and myself. We went over with the original importer of the dogs to America, Mike Sotilli, as we stated before. We got a lot of great information over in Italy. We got to see them in their home environment, how they're used on the farms, and we got to meet some of the top breeders in Italy. So it was a very informative trip. We made some really good connections. And we went to a couple dog shows over there. And we also help run the ICCF, which is the only registry that's recognized by SAC, which is the registry in Italy for the Cane Corsos. There's a few other registries, I believe, in America now, but the ICCF is the only one that's recognized by SAC. And we run that with another couple.
Puglia, and we went to Macedonia, and we seen all the dogs in their original habitat. We seen them on farms with chickens and goats and cattle, and we seen them doing their guard work, and we went to all the different breeders, and we acquired our own stock from different breeders. And right now, one of the top dogs in the United States, Champion Terrell, we acquired him from Italy. And all our original stock is from Italy, and now we're doing our own breeding, and we're making our own line of dogs, Belmonte Cane Corso, and hopefully we do a good job with it.
Hey! Watch her, Rocco. Watch her, Rocco. Watch her.
Remember, keep that sleeve tight to your chest when you do it.
Good boy!
Stay back, Eddie.
Good boy!
Slip.
Good boy! Come on. Good boy! Good boy!
What are some of the inherent health problems of the breed?
As any large breed, they do have hip dysplasia. They do get cherry eye once in a while, but other than that, they've been pretty sturdy dog, pretty rugged dog, and we live up on top of the mountain here, and they're outside all winter, you know, 40 below and stuff, and they take it well.
Good boy! Watch her. Watch her. Watch her. Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Get her! Good boy!
Slip.
Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy! Good boy!
That's it. Look at him carry the sleeve. He feels very good. A lot of success there. Confident dog. He's got a piece of the man.
What are your buyer requirements?
And when we talk to them, we don't want these dogs going down to New York City to be drug guard dogs. We you know, when the people come up here, you'll see what type of person they are, what type of where they live. You know, it's just the feeling of the person.
We talk to these people a lot on the phone, and after they purchase puppies, we also talk to them. But before they come up, we try to encourage them to come up. If they don't, we do a lot of talking over the phone and get a feel for them as best we can. Cane Corso makes a great home companion. It makes an excellent guard dog. We got involved with them because we couldn't find any faults with them. They're not indiscriminate biters. They're wonderful in the house. They're not hyper.
They don't drool.
They don't drool.
Real athletic.
Real athletic. You can go on and on about their pros. And their con list is extremely short. We really haven't found any cons. If you are interested in looking at our dogs, we welcome anyone to come up during the week or weekends. We live up in Berryville along the Delaware River in New York. Just give us a call.